I'm gonna do an insight video today, and I've been talking about consciousness and creation, and vibration and frequency and the eternal moment. These are three things that I've been talking about a lot lately. Also, the universal law of correspondence is a really good sort of like universal law to show you insight, show you wisdom, to show you understanding. And when you start looking at your external world and there's things that are not aligned, that aren't sort of unified, don't see these as a negative thing. See these as an opportunity for one to become more sort of conscious about what you want to create, but also it gives you insight and awareness um, of things that aren't sort of aligned with your true self, with your higher self, or your inspired self, or your infinite self. So if something's not aligned externally, and you can see this, the universal law of correspondence is showing you, it's giving you an opportunity from your infinite self, and giving you an opportunity to access and step into the eternal moment and shift and change. And again, this relates to something called the universal law of perpetual transmutation, transformation, and perpetual transmutation. Transmutation is shifting from one state of being to the next. So it's like it's shifting your vibration, it's shifting your frequency to a different level. And within your infinite self, there's infinite vibrations and infinite frequencies. All reality is available to you. So when you start to realize through the universal law of correspondence that you're a mirror, and if something externally isn't working, it's because it's giving you insight that internally, through your consciousness, through your source energy and your source creator, you're creating something that's not aligned with you. So it's an opportunity. It's like opening a doorway of consciousness, a doorway of insight, and it's allowing you to see that something that's not working. And if it doesn't feel aligned with you, then you need to shift and change it. You need to shift to change it for your vibration and for your consciousness. And also know the universe is you and you are the universe. I've said this many times before. The universe is there for you. It works for you, through you, and as you. These are the three statements: for you, as you, and through you. I just repeat a couple of things just so it sort of starts to integrate within consciousness when we start to talk about this. And it seems like a lot of the masters and a lot of beings, when they start talking about things, they do repeat them, and they repeat them, and they go over the same things because it's integrating into a new level of consciousness, a new level of awareness. And this is how we, when you look at something that you learn physically, you do it over and over again through repetition. And the more you do it through repetition, the more it starts to integrate and become a sort of like a way of being, a way of living, and a way of creating. And it's the same with this, because we're shifting our awareness and shifting through now to different levels of awareness and understanding and different vibrations and frequencies, and awakening to our source creator and our source vibration and our source being and our essence within us. We will repeat things, because the more you repeat them, the more they start to integrate within your consciousness, and you start to shift and change things. So if something's not aligned, and usually when it's not aligned, it's because of the way that you're approaching it, or the way you're thinking about it, or the way that the way you're creating it. So realize that anything happening externally outside of you is only a reflection of what you're creating from your vibration, your frequency. And it's looking at the different levels. And again, this relates to the universal law of polarity, which is very much around the infinite, again, the infinite sort of scale of things, or the infinite vibration, the eternal moment. The universal law of polarity teaches us that the eternal moment, that all is part of the same. It's all is connected, all is one. There is no separation. And whether you see sort of like vibrations that that impact you and don't give you the experience that that makes you feel like vibrant or re-energized. These are vibrations that I'm talking about, are like fear, worry, doubt, stress, jealousy, anger, all those kind of things. They're all still part of the whole. They're all still part of the like the source energy, as well as like joy, harmony, happiness, love, compassion. All of those are all part of the same whole. And you have as a spiritual being, you have the ability to access all reality, all vibrations, all frequencies. As I keep saying, guides and beings are the same as us. We are the same as them. We are the same pure energy, the pure vibrational energy. We are pure source energy. We're living in human form, and one of the sort of like the roles of us when we're living in human form is to access our infinite selves and that eternal moment and create from it, but then integrate it within our physical bodies. And when we do this, then we start to heighten our vibration, we heighten our physical bodies, we activate them with like light for energy, light vibration, pure light source energy, and the body then starts to vibrate with this, and it becomes a normal state, like a natural state, to walk through this, through like in this source consciousness, this source creation, this source vibration, and the body starts to align with it. It awakens sort of like vibrations and light energy within our physical bodies, so that we can start to walk and feel aligned. And this is also about unifying. It's about unifying. It's sort of like, it's like opens a doorway, it opens like a portal of consciousness and awareness, where we start to then vibrate as light beings. We are light beings, we always have been. There's no, and it's like all this notion of trying to get somewhere or do something. We don't need to do that. We are perfect already. It's just being aware and being conscious of the energy, the light, the vibration, the source energy within each and every one of us, the source creator. When we bring that online, we realize that there is nothing that is nothing that's separate from us, but also there's nothing stopping us. We're already able to do that. All we have to do is vibrate as this light being, and live within that source energy, live within that source creator, live within that source light energy, and live as that light vibration, that light being that we are. Like I said, the universe is us, and we are the universe. The universe works for us, through us, and as us, and it always has done. The only limitation that we see is through what we believe, that we're separate. We've never been separate. We can't be separate from what we are, our true nature, which is this source being. We can't be separate from it. We're born into it. It never dies. Energy doesn't die. It just changes form. This is what transmutation is. Transmutation is this shifting of consciousness, this shifting of awareness. And transmutation works in that way, even within like the spirit world, or the different higher dimensions, or the higher realities. I mean, they use the term spirit world. I wouldn't. I sort of, when I was originally sort of on this journey, the spiritual sort of like journey, and the spiritual sort of thing was something that really sort of like appealed to me. But I don't necessarily see it like that. We are light beings of pure consciousness, pure vibration, pure sort of frequency. And when we say, so it's different dimensions of realities. This is what the multidimensional being is. This is what the multidimensional being is a being of true light, energy, vibration, and consciousness that's born from source. We're all source beings. There is no separation, never has been. And you can live your life through a vibration. You can create and manifest that vibration. And this is what that when they start talking about heaven on earth is. Heaven on earth is this living in the eternal moment, and living in a vibration that aligns and unifies with you, that brings you joy, happiness, peace, and you align that, and you live within that vibration. Within that eternal moment, that as a source creator and a source being, you can access that at any time. All you have to do is shift your level of consciousness, lift your level of awareness. And this is what the masters teach us. This is what the descended masters teach us. And the descended masters are light beings. They're light beings of universal truth, universal wisdom, universal creation, as is as our archangels, as are all these other sort of infinite beings, and these universal teachers that many people talk about. These councils, they're all the same. They are all part of this one consciousness, this one consciousness of source creation, of source vibration, source frequency, as we are. And this is what this time's about. This is what this new earth's about. This is what the new awareness is about. And when we talk about times like of great sort of like spirit, they would say like great creation, which was like Atlantis and Lemuria. That's the same. They'd accessed that level of consciousness where they were aware that they were part of this one vibration, that there's no separation, and that whether you're in the physical form, you're still this source created with source vibration and frequency. And they would just access that consciousness. They would access their infinite self, that eternal moment, and through that they would be connected straight away to these other beings of different dimensions and higher consciousness in different realities. As we have the opportunity now. And this is when people start talking about sacred geometry, and they talk about like portals and things like that in different dimensions. What they're really talking about is they're vibrating on a level now where they sort of like are connected to their infinite selves within that eternal moment, and they can access it. We can all access it. We all have the same potential. No being is greater than the next. We're all in a sense come down here, you know, and we're here to shift the vibration, the frequency of ourselves, firstly in the I am consciousness, and then secondly in the we consciousness, which is the we consciousness is the reality of the collective consciousness. And there's so many collective consciousnesses within the infinite sort of like source creation, source reality. There's so many infinite beings of infinite consciousness, you know. I mean, they're more than you could, more than within the heavens and the stars and the universe, you know. And but it's, you know, we have to come to this realization that, you know, that we have this ability, we have this ability to create, we have this ability to awaken to this level, and we can walk as light beings, as light consciousness, because that's what we are. You know, we can't be what we're not, and we've always been this. And this is the real sort of like the real shifting and difficult thing, I think, for many people, which is a barrier, is shifting into that light consciousness, that light frequency, that light vibration, where we walk as light and pure light consciousness, pure light frequency, and start to create and manifest that, and know that we can do that. You know, that there's no limits, there's no separation. We are unified. We are one. We've always been one. We've always been one with source creator, source vibration, source frequency, and it's about now sort of like living as that, living from that vibration, that frequency, and not seeing any barriers. You know, anything external that's happening around you, if it has an impact, it's because of what you're creating from your own internal, you know, the eternal moment, from your own vibration. That's what the universal law of correspondence teaches us, that you are a mirror to the universe, and the universe is only reflecting what you're creating. Because as I've said many times before, you are the universe and the universe is you. So, you know, it can only be coming from you. It can't be coming from anywhere else. It's from your level of consciousness. And in that state, in that sort of like awareness, you know, you start to look at things and question things about, you know, lessons, you know, that we come down here for lessons. Well, if you're perfect in your pure light being and in pure creation, those lessons are only opportunities just to bring you back to what you are, to remember again, to sort of like come back and unify with it again. You know, there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to achieve, there's nothing you have to do to be that, because you were born it, and you'll always be it. You know, and when you awaken to that level of understanding, you really understand there is no limitation, there is no separation, and you start to really like live your life in that vibration, and everything externally then vibrates and aligns from your center, from your source creator, from your source vibration, your source frequency, and your consciousness, your level of consciousness. And you realize that everything's just vibrating around you like this, and anything that's attracted into you is coming into your reality because you've created it by your level of consciousness. So every experience, everything that happens, what we deem as good or bad, is only a reflection of what your level of consciousness is at that time, and then it gets attracted. This is how the universal law of attraction works. Your level of consciousness is vibrating and shifting around you like that, and then you attract whatever you're creating, and that becomes your reality. So in that moment, in that eternal moment, when you start to have the awareness, then you know, actually, I've created this. I've attracted this to me. This isn't something that I particularly am enjoying. It's not a vibration that sort of aligns with me. So then I will shift it, dissolve it, and change it, and bring something new in. And this is what we're supposed to do, because that level of light, that level of consciousness, that level of pure consciousness is within every one of us. You nobody, like I could keep saying, each being on this planet, no being is higher and has more access to universal source energy or universal consciousness or source creation than any other being, because we're all born, and we've all come from that energy. So we all have that within our essence, within who we are, our true nature, our infinite nature. We've all got that. Nobody's greater than anybody else, and within those higher dimensions, there is no separation. So there cannot be higher and lower. There can only be one. You know, there can only be one. There can't be any separation. You know, this is the thing. When you start really thinking about it, it really starts to make you see and perceive reality and perceive everything differently, and you start to see your reality and everything very, very differently. And this is the idea. This is what's supposed to happen. This is why they're bringing these insights and directing these insights now, so we can awaken to that level of awareness, that level of consciousness, that level of frequency, so we can start to then create this planet, you know. And like creating heaven on earth again is like you do that within yourself, and then you connect to the we, which is the collective consciousness, the collective vibration, and then the planet connects to that vibration. And that when that planet when the planet is like vibrating on that kind of level, that is heaven on earth, because then you've actually connected with what people call the fifth dimension, which is the energetic dimension, which is, you know, like a doorway, that when you start to connect to that vibration, then you start to connect to the different, the ever different sort of higher dimensional vibrations and consciousness with the other beings that are existing in those realities. So that's an insight into creation, vibration, consciousness again, as I feel this is what they really want to sort of direct me to and talk about more. I'm trying to live this now. I'm trying to live this. You know, I go to work every day and I try and live within this consciousness. I try not to get distracted. I try not to get attached. I try not to get entangled with stuff. I am still, because I'm still trying to dissolve that and move through that myself now. But I also know that what this is universal truth that's being sort of like given here now. I know this because I feel it. I have moments of it where I'm really, really in that, and I walk as this light vibration, this light frequency, and I just feel like I'm the center of everything. I am the universe is me, and everything vibrates around me, and I can dissolve it and release it, and I can create and manifest at will. Please comment, please like, subscribe. Have a great day.